11 December 1993 seems like any other day for a resident of Highland Tower, Selangor, Malaysia, or many of its residents being away for work. However, the tragedy happens on 1:30 in the evening.
One of the three towers that make up the complex Tower A collapsed, burying the residents in it in barrels of debris. A rescue team was quickly dispatched. When the dust settled, 48 were found dead.
Why exactly did the tower collapse? While the exact direct cause is not known, the factor contributing to the collapse may be attributed by several environmental and societal issues that affected the structural integrity of the tower block.
Let's start with the environmental issues. For one, the tower is located on a slope. Slopes are vulnerable to collapsing in areas with human activities. Buildings located on a slope are more prone to natural disasters like landslides. Moreover, there were a 10-day streak of heavy rainfall recorded prior to the collapse. As the soil is loosened due to the heavy rain, they slide toward the tower along the slope, toppling the tower after impact. Now let's move on to the societal issues, which encompasses the choices made by the people in charge that actively contributed to the collapse. An example would be the poor drainage system that were not maintained well. The drainage system is unable to contain the water flow and was overwhelmed, leading to water bounding that destabilized the terrain. Furthermore, the retaining wall that was supposed to prevent disasters was not fully constructed, leading to it being easily overwhelmed by the landslide. In addition, the condominium towers were also poorly constructed. The blocks were constructed with low quality concrete, steel, and had improper welding.
It should be noted that both issues come hand in hand, with the fact that the societal issue ultimately amplified the environmental issues present, thus causing the disaster.
For example, the improper soil bearing test conducted on site is unable to identify the loose soil prior to construction. With no proper mitigation measures in place, the loose soil eroded and is unable to support the building.
This leads to two important issues that led to the collapse, which are incompetency and corruption. The engineers' inability to assess the site properly and resolve the environmental issue accordingly, coupled with cost-cutting measures, has sealed the fate of the tower. So, how to prevent more disasters like this from happening in the future?
In this context, there were some aspects that should be considered. First, the calculations done by the engineers were faulty and did not consider the hill behind the tower, thus jeopardizing the safety of the tower. From this, it shows that an engineer should ensure the accuracy of their facts and data. There were also elements of intentional incompetence leading up to the tragedy. The engineer willfully issued a false notice to authorities about the drainage system that was not fully constructed, which eventually collapsed due to heavy load. Therefore, an engineer should be objective and truthful when making professional reports. Moreover, we need entities to regulate professionals to ensure their work is up to standards. The engineers in Malaysia are governed by BAM, which provides checks on their work. To improve the system, regulatory bodies could require developers to hire engineers from said bodies to review the work done by their engineer to reduce malicious and negligent action. In addition, regulatory bodies could encourage whistleblowers on projects that are not up to code by protecting the whistleblowers from employer retaliation. This will ensure the companies will be wary before implementing cost-cutting measures at the public expense.
We live in the age of high rise, as when our building gets bigger, so does the discussion around its safety and integrity. Thus, the importance of professional practicing honesty and competence could not be understated.